All right, guys, in this clip, we're going to be talking to Veronica. Veronica's been working on her spiritual connections. She's been hearing her name being called to her, and she's trying to figure out a way to better communicate with her spirit guides. The panel gives her advice on how best to communicate with her guides, as well as practices that she could do in order to better facilitate that communication, remember that communication, and show her guides that she is actively participating in listening to the things that they have to say to her. Hope you enjoy the clip. Welcome to the Communicators, a Paranormal Journey. This is Kevin, your host, and we're here every Wednesday from 7:30 to 8:30 Pacific Standard Time. The call-in number for every show is 646-668-8373. Our panel tonight consists of psychics, mediums, trans-channelers, and empaths. So if you're looking for some psychic advice, or if you just want to reach somebody on the other side, feel free to give us a call. For anyone listening that would prefer an off-air reading, please visit thecommunicatorsgroup.com and leave your request there, and one of us will get back to you to schedule an appointment. Please keep in mind that shows are for entertainment and educational purposes only. Hi, thanks for holding.
Hi, this is Veronica.
What can we help you with today?
Last time I was asked to call back to see if my energy changed because I had asked my spirit guides had any advice as to how to better connect with them and just basically pay attention.
And what have you noticed?
To be honest with you, I feel like I tend to connect with them when I'm falling asleep, or I tend to better hear them at that time, and little words just kind of come through, but they don't seem to make sense.
Why not?
Yeah. Well, because sometimes I'll hear names of people that I don't know. I mean, I do try to ask people around me, you know, if the name sounds familiar, but it's almost kind of like they'll say Steve, and I can't remember the last name they said, but they said Steve, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
You know, and I try to keep it there, but...
Okay. That's your problem. You're trying to keep it there. You need a journal by your bed so that when the names pop up, you write it down and you write the date and you write the hour that came through. I mean, yeah, it totally sucks, and it's like way inconvenient. You know, you're getting ready to drift off, and then you hear David, and you're like, what the hell? You know?
Yeah.
So you write it down because you're already in an altered state when you heard it. So that's why you heard it. So the minute you write it out, you've got to make sure to put the date, unless you do that in the morning. But the time and when it came through is important. You know, say it out loud. Go, okay, whoever just said that, you have got literally like 15 more seconds of my attention before the pen, the paper, and everything gets back down and I put my head back down. So speak now or forever hold your peace.
Okay.
And then if nothing comes, put your head back down, go to bed, and you'll be fine. But that action is needed. You heard it, that's great, but you haven't physically joined it with your physical body. When you speak it and you write it, okay, the only thing it was before that was a thought. So before it was a thought, it was energy, you know, or an impulse or an emotion or whatever, but it was in your body. So you're giving faith to the fact of what you heard. You're giving credence. So if you're trying to find out whether or not you're communicating with me, you can just download the show and you know you're talking with me. But you're trying to get guidance, but you're not giving any confirmation to those giving it to you that you received it. And then when you're asked to recall what you received, you don't even remember the name. So you have to proactively be ready for messages. And then when the messages come, you better write it down however you write it down. Don't worry about spelling, just write it out. And I find having a pen and a paper way better than opening up your phone and trying to type it on a phone app or any of that nonsense. Okay? Sorry, that's it. Edgar, Linda, did you guys have anything else?
I agree with you, Kev, 100%.
All right.
Okay.
Edgar, go ahead.
Veronica, were you the caller that I told you just need to let it come to you?
You told me that you had heard that I was trying too hard.
Oh, yeah, and you had to let it come to you.
Yeah.
You said you hear more when you're about to fall asleep. And the reason why that's happening is that's when you're at the most relaxed state. So you're relaxing, you're about to go to sleep, and you start hearing things that you're not even asking for. That's because you're just letting it happen. So more to my point, that I just think you're trying too hard and you're just not letting the energy flow.
You know, I always remember what you said, and, you know, there'll be days where I'm like, okay, well, I'm not even going to think about it today. And then all night, last night, all I kept hearing was my name being called. So I would look up. I don't see anyone, but it just kept on going for a while, and it was just like Vero, like like Veronica.
That's a good start, though. Learn how to, crawl before you want to walk or run, right? So just let it happen. Let them call Vero 100 times a day. And then tomorrow it'll say, Vero, look at me, or whatever it's going to be. Let it happen.
If somebody said your name 500 times and you did nothing, they witnessed you literally do nothing. They're going to quit calling your name.
I do. I actually
do what?
Well, I get up, I lift my head up because it's pitch dark in my room. So I'm looking around, and in my mind, I am saying, okay, I'm here. If you have a message, come through.
Okay, you're doing all this internally, which is great, but giving no validation to anything that's given you that stuff in the first place. So writing it down when it says it, or even acknowledging it out loud instead of talking in your head, right? It was hard for them to get through that head of yours. And then when they do,
that's why I feel so bad.
Well, just say something out loud. Talk as if they're there. Anytime you hear your name, anytime you get a message, just think that person is standing right over you with this big, huge megaphone. And unfortunately, maybe you got a couple words that they were screaming literally into your ear. And the only validation they will have of what you hear is what they can physically see with their spiritual eyes, what you do in the world they're no longer in. So if you write on a piece of paper, I heard my name called, it is 2 a.m. I have no flipping idea what that means, and it scared the poop out of me. Then next time it happens, write it down again. Was there a difference in the way they said your name? Was it a difference in the hour? All those things, you need to be a detective, but thinking to yourself, if they're standing right here in the room, how do I acknowledge to them that I heard them? And if you can't get a piece of paper or a pen, say it out loud. Hey, I heard you say my name. I have no idea what you need, but I wake up in about 7 hours. That would be better. You have to build a communication with them. Sorry, Edgar.
You're absolutely right.
Okay. Linda, what were you picking up?
Okay. I noticed that on the show, we get a lot of callers who want to be more in tune with themselves, with their spirit guides. They want communication, and there's been empaths, mediums, crystal readers, card readers. But one thing I do, and maybe this might help you and others, if you want to hear, because I'm audio, I'm visual, I also go through a process of invoking. How do you invoke them? Invite them into you, to talk to you. When I get up in the morning, I call out to my family members on the other side, to my angels. I already know who my guides are. And I say to them, if there's any messages you want me to receive for myself or others, please bring them to me. But before I even say that, I say a prayer. I have a way of speaking, and I think that's what Edgar and Kevin are also explaining to you. You have to establish a form of speaking to them. And then also, what is your meditation process? Do you hold on to crystals? Do you burn incense? Do you do a deep prayer? See, I do a deep prayer, and I request that all those who I communicate with or who I see or the door that I am opening to see come in and speak on behalf of my reader, that they come with good energy, that they come positive, and no scary stuff comes through. And then at the end of the day, I do a closure, like saying, I'm going to bed. I want to sleep well. Don't wake me up by calling me or poking me or doing whatever. I'll talk to you all in the morning. So you have to practice a procedure of invoking and in calling.
Invoking and boundaries?
And how you open your doors. That's very important. And you have to let yourself, your body, be totally relaxed. Because I notice that I get really awesome reads when I am really relaxed. But when I have some few things on my mind and then I need to do a read, I'm not at my best. So that's my message to you. And I hope it helps you and everybody else that listens.
Thank you.
That was great. I love that, Linda.
Yes, I really appreciate the feedback I get from all of you because, like I said, I am trying to better myself as far as, my spiritual work. Well, not work because I haven't really done it, but,
It is work.
Mhm.
You have to dedicate time to it. It can come across as silly sometimes to others, or, you could look wacky to other people. But the whole goal is to connect in with our guidance team and learn how to best communicate with them, whoever it is, whether it's Aunt Molly,
Yeah.
whether it's Archangel Michael, whoever it is, everybody is unique. So the way they experience certain things is through their own point of view. So the subconscious, when we're dreaming, can only give us images. It only stores images. Did you ever go to like Disneyland or someplace like that as a little girl?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. So let's say that, you take like a Disneyland situation and they had like this little Princess Cinderella house and there's a little kitchen and then there's a little stove and all this. Let's say you're having this dream and all of a sudden you're visiting Disneyland and you're in the castle and you just notice that there's a pot of boiling water on the stove unattended, right? And then you're like, oh, whatever, and then you go on your merry way. Well, let's say when you were 6 years old and you were a little girl, unrelated to Disneyland, you did that. You reached up and you grabbed a boiling pot of something and it scalded you all over. That memory would pretty much be ingrained in your head. So you would see that boiling pot of water in Disneyland and clearly be like, okay, that was the brain's way of telling me there's some danger coming up in whatever you attribute to Disneyland, right? If it's a good memory, I had such a great time when I was 6, right? All of a sudden, I would interpret that dream for me to be like, okay, danger, Will Robinson. They're boiling whatever. I burned myself as a kid. I'm at Disneyland. So pay attention to what I'm planning on doing or what's coming up. The same thing holds true with our guides, right? So whatever you hold most dear, whatever has the most feeling for you, be on the lookout for that because they will give those things to you because they will trigger the memory quicker. Okay, sorry, guys. That's all I have.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Be excited.
I really am excited.
Okay, good. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. We'll put you back into the queue.